How the fuck am I supposed to be happy when the world is going to die in 30 years?
I'm totally with you. I'm in my mid-20s and have spent a good portion of college studying energy science. Contrary to what others have said, unless the rate of exploitation decreases drastically very soon, we are likely to see major societal collapses within our lifetime. My friends and I talk about it, and we've mostly come to the conclusion that the best we can do is enjoy our lives to the fullest and appreciate every moment to the best of our ability. One could argue that life should always be spent this way, but now it's put in better perspective than ever. My only advice is to allow yourself the escapism you need. Whether it's sports, gaming, outdoor activities, or just spending times with friends and family, we all owe it to ourselves to appreciate life and the human experience. To quote Gandalf, all we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us. I know this isn't a reassuring comment, but I don't believe in candy-coating the current state of affairs. Just know that you are not alone in your feelings of despair.
Hey, do people realize that do the best you can with the time you have is not, in fact, reassuring advice and is actually an anxiety bomb?
The world won't be dead, humans won't be extinct, just our current civilization will change drastically. If you've seen a history program or book, you'll see this has happened many times before: ice ages, empire collapses, etc. It won't be pretty, but it's not the end.
Who said it's going to end in 2050?
That's assuming nothing changes. Eventually something will, once there's more money to be made off of saving the world rather than killing it. I imagine that'll happen in around 27 years. The only things that give me hope are: 1. We're at a tipping point where it can't be ignored anymore, and it is finally widely accepted as the greatest threat facing the world and humanity. And 2. Technological advances are speeding up exponentially. Things that are basically miracle technology do exist, the struggle is getting them put into practice. But point 1 is only going to get stronger every day.
Right. Well, that post is bullshit. There have always been doomsayers, preppers, end-of-the-world types. It's an evolutionary feature. We want some people to be taking all the precautions they can, so they survive the flood, plague, eruption, whatever. They're just wired that way. Climate change is a serious problem. We honestly don't know how bad it's going to get. There is a chance that it's the end of human civilization. Biodiversity collapse. People back to the Stone Age. Bad stuff. Possibly. But the Malthusians worried about overpopulation until we found out that developed nations stop having as many kids. And railroad ties were going to deforest the planet until we found how to weather treat them. And oil was going to run out until we found how to frack old wells and shitty tar sand. In short, technology has the potential to save us. 'Cause I highly doubt enough people will just put the brakes on burning so much and releasing Colorado too. A lot of people are working hard at this. There's money involved. They're working on carbon sequestration, cleaner power generation, sunshades. Have hope. Have faith. And if faith is lacking, then go into the sciences and figure this stuff out for us. Save the world. And while the worst-case scenario for climate change is ecological collapse, the more likely scenario is some flooding, some expensive disasters, a lot of dead animals, and a lot of burned forests. Shitty. But not the end of Earth. Nor the end of humanity. Nor the end of civilization. It'll just be more expensive. And really, that's at a level above you. It means one less aircraft carrier in the budget.
Yeah. I will be gone in 30 years, but I have kids your age. Fuck. The world could be a horrible place and they'll be starving/diseased/suffering if it all goes down to this worst case. What can any of us do? Not much of anything. You and I can do a little. But it won't mean squat, since the bigger powers can't agree, or refuse to acknowledge this is the trending possibility. Though, maybe someone brilliant will come along and be that one little voice that becomes a leader that can help steer things on a better path. So, I guess do small things and see if it makes any difference. But except you just have no control over it and have to decide how you want to live your life. Ignorant and ignoring it.
Or doing something, even tiny things, to try and be a positive influence on others and change the status quo. Climate change is awful and it is the existential threat of our lifetime. However, the Earth and people will still be here in 30 years. Millions of people will be dying every year from climate change in 2050, and that burden will go on poorer countries, but it's not turning into Day After Tomorrow or Waterworld or Mad Max. Life will go on. It's just going to be a lot hotter and suck more.
I am right there with you. I think about this a lot.
Do you mind sharing the post that said that? I'm not doubting what you say, but I haven't heard or read an article where a prediction was that dire. My assurance to you, young person, is that having been around for decades, people are always telling us something bad like that will happen. Environmentalists say every 5 to 10 years that Earth will become a massive ocean, or we won't be able to breathe, or it'll be a frying pan, or the ozone will have been destroyed and we'll all die from radiation. Now, while all these things may actually come to pass, it's unlikely that it will happen in your lifetime. They are all real problems. But they aren't problems that you will see. Change on a global scale doesn't happen that quickly. And while we need to stop these things from happening, it likely won't be happening any time in the immediate future. Read. In your lifetime. We won't all die in 30 years, just a lot of us. I'll be dead of old age by then anyway. Just don't live near forests, by the sea, near a desert or soon-to-be desert, in a big city, in China, India, Pakistan, most of Africa, Australia, Mexico, Russia, or any Pacific islands, and you might be okay. Oh. And join a street gang and get a few guns. Don't waste your money on a pension plan or property. Well op. The world is not going to die. That's how people can be happy still. It quite simply is not true that the world is going to die in the near future, and especially not as early as 2050. Climate change is an extremely serious challenge for us. But its effects are not world-ending. We will face increasingly extreme weather, including droughts and floods. Especially the poorer countries will have many deaths and probably create a climate refugee stream, the likes of which we never saw. Several entire countries might permanently be taken by the sea. Maybe eventually it would cause enough instability for our civilizations to collapse. But the world will not end. Nor will humanity even go extinct. Probably. But it is extremely bad nonetheless. Growing up, we had shows like Sightings that would report things like, in the year 2000, on May 5th a meteor will hit the Earth and cause great devastation. It was frightening. But it didn't happen obviously. Certain countries will work to improve climate change, and others simply won't because it is not economically feasible to do so. Truth is, anything can happen at any time. Another truth is that there were things and people long before us. And there are things that will be here long after us. We have been here for such a short time. Mother Earth will sort herself out. Worry about the things in your circle of control. When I was in high school, the world was gonna end in 2012. You need to have a word with those who think they can eat, drink and breathe their money when the shit hits the fan. The whole aim of practical politics is to keep the populace alarmed, and hence clamorous to be led to safety, by menacing it with an endless series of hobgoblins, all of them imaginary. Mencken. I believe, especially with this new generation being the most concerned about climate change, that we will figure it out. Humans are relentless. We always figure it out. It'll be more about conservation and changing our impact we have on this planet. Everything gets better with time. Let people think the world will end in 30 years. If that's what it takes to get people off their asses and start investing in innovation. We won't get better if we aren't being better. Mechanical arm, flexed biceps, medium skin tone, brain. You're not necessarily supposed to be happy. It's good for your mental health to enjoy the small thing in life. Though, despite the many challenges that face humanity, you might like to talk to a therapist, become involved in activism, or try to find a support group.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.